pages and I think it's starting. It's connecting. That was weird. That's so weird. Down here in the analytics, it says there's nobody there, but in the top part, it says there's people there. That is Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL. And yeah, still on the big project. It is coming along, and I've made a lot of progress since you last saw me. In fact, you might notice that some of this looks a little bit different. Well, I got a whole story about that as well. So welcome, 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 welcome. I really appreciate everybody that comes and watches my videos. I make it because I want to share what I do with the world, and you guys have made me feel very welcome and very honored to have the privilege of sharing all this time with you guys. So, um, hello, Ocean Current. Hey, that's a really cool name. I guess you kind of go with the flow, right? Um, so yeah, what I did. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I think it's three. I cut a hole through the board that I've got my work clipped to. And the main reason for that is um, because every time I keep adding more string, I end up with more stuff hanging in my way. And oh wait, there's more people joining. Hello, Amanda. And Rainbow Haze made it. Yay! Hello, Rainbow. Um, so Amanda Faith is finally catching it live. Well, good for you. I'm glad you made it. So what I was saying is I was having a problem. Let's see if I can show you this. Back here, all these strings have been replaced with new longer ones. And if they're hanging along with all of these, it'd be really easy to pick them up and tie knots to them. And that could cause me a whole lot of trouble. Like it would actually make the work become bigger, right? The more string is, the wider the thing. So trying to pin them off to the side or slide them over here or do a row and then cutting them was basically all these methods were really kind of slowing me down a lot, like really, really a lot. So I came up with the idea that I'm basically working in this area here. And so if I just cut this hole, and mind you, the board I'm using is supposed to be for like acrylic painting or maybe oil paint. It's from an art store, and it's essentially a very heavy duty cardboard that's got like a canvas kind of wrapped over the top of it. So it was relatively easy. Just take like an X-Acto knife and keep scoring, going across it again and again and again until the hole came into play. And then yeah, it's really helped me out quite a bit. As far as how much time does it save, I'm not sure. I don't know. I've been having a lot of trouble with trying to balance myself with the medications for ADHD. Um, it seems that now I kind of get um, I'm able to focus maybe better at times, but other times it's not so much. And yeah, I get kind of hard on myself when I'm not doing as much as I think I should or could be doing. So that's kind of a problem. So hopefully I can get that worked out with the doctors here soon and figure out why that is and work it out. So um yeah, wife and I've been talking. We're going looking at the possibility of having some fun with these live streams and turning it into a chance to win a bracelet. Now, I haven't quite got all the details worked out, but that's something that I should have actually working in progress as of next week. So all the more reason to hang out and catch the live streams because it'll be chances to win bracelets. So that's kind of fun. Also, um, this this month, because I happen to manage to make a few sales on my website, I am going to have two bracelet giveaways for my Patreon supporters. So if you haven't already checked it out, you should check out my Patreon. Although I probably wouldn't subscribe today, because if you did today, you'll get billed today and then again on the first of the month. So just wait until, was it Monday or whatever? Wait till Monday, start fresh at the beginning of the month so you don't get double billed. Unless you really don't mind. And then in that case, by all means, um, have at it. But yeah, so there's going to be two bracelet giveaways this month. And I have the other bracelet here. Last week you would have seen what the first bracelet is, and then now there's this one. And I'm not sure that the camera really does the colors justice. It's a really rich burgundy with a turquoise and then a couple of nice earth tones to go with it. So it's a really fun bracelet. And yeah, I've always said if I had the means, I would do more giveaways. So yeah. And yes, I should try to go easier on myself. I know I say that in practice. I'm like, oh, I could be, you know, whatever, like, chill, relax, just do it as it comes. But that only goes so far in practice. Like some part of my brain is just like, no dopamine for you until you've done more work. And it's a relentless thing. So yeah, so the new contest idea, and maybe you guys can, toss in your 2 cents. So the idea is that um basically I pick a random word, just something, whatever, and the first person to mention it in chat to use that particular word will be the winner of the bracelet. So that way it's completely fair. The robot is the one that's going to actually do the announcing the winner. Um, and it makes it fun. So then if, let's say, next week, I get this whole thing implemented, but nobody manages to hit that word, then we carry over to the week after, and I give a hint, and we just do that and more until it gets to the thing. I have not received bracelets from viewers, actually. That would be kind of fun. Yeah, I'm down for that. Is the address or anything on the website? I know the email. You can always contact me through the email that's over on my website, akaawol.com. It looks like this. If you type in akaawol.com and you see this, you are in the right place. But yes, there's a contact tab you can always reach me at. So yeah, that'd be fun. I did before do a thing where I had people sending me some stickers on the airplane trolley. Like, have you ever been on an airplane? The little cart they come along with the drinks and the meals. I have one, and I keep my floss in it, and I have a whole boatload of stickers on there. So that's something else I'm kind of always looking out for, is fun stickers to put on the trolley. Where does that look? Oh, I hit the wrong button. That was a zoom in shot. Okay. I'm like, that didn't look right. I like how the bot, like, all you have to do is put in a certain word and away it goes. So yeah. Anyways, so yeah, there's like seemingly so much stuff going on. I kind of wanted to finish this row before the video got started, So that way I would start with actually adding the string, but I didn't finish it. Distracted by trying to get some other aspects of this whole video streaming together. But yeah, definitely check out the website. Drop me a line if you want to send something. I mean, I currently only have one bracelet I made myself on, so there's obviously room for another there. Once upon a time, I used to have, oh gosh, back in the day, back in the 80s when I first started making bracelets, I probably wore anywhere between 6 and 10 bracelets at a time. Way cool. Yeah, actually, speaking of, I don't know if you can see any of the stickers behind me, but there's um, Naruto and Shinchan stickers I just got from AliExpress. I don't ask me how I talked the wife into letting me have stickers, but she was nice. And you're right, they are pretty cheap, and I love it. And despite what the robot said, I have this now, and this makes me happy because I'm not really good at it yet, but I can kind of twirl it, and it is a break from doing the knots, which helps to keep my fingers um, more nimble, I guess is a word, or I guess nimble works. Yeah, it's my hands get kind of tense at a time. I'm not sure what Amanda's. Oh yeah. Oh, how many I was wearing? Yeah. No, I used to wear a lot. I used to, at one point even, I managed, I hated how they all got jammed up at one end. So I actually stitched them together to be um, one wide piece. So yeah, it used to look cool. I get, I get so deep in my own thought that I forget things I've already said. That's, my wife is helping me here because obviously my brain is not 100% on course here. Yeah, dexterity. That's the word I wanted. That's the better word. Yes, because when you're constantly so tense with the holding the strings and picking them up and doing all the things and pulling them tight, having something that moves your hands around in a different fashion definitely helps. The other thing I have, and you can tell this matters to me because I keep it within arm reach. These are actually stone. This is probably granite, and just rolling them around. I know they kind of clink, and it's making the microphone go crazy here. But just doing this kind of action helps again to keep the hands from getting too tense or whatever. Oh, I forgot to add. We got background music. I forgot to add that in. I got so wound up with the whole excitingness. Oh, the thing I was twirling is from AliExpress. It's a pen. Um, so it's technically it's a pen, but in the end, and on both ends, there's like a steel ball inside this rubber casing. So it's literally made to be a twirling thing. We were joking a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks now, about whether or not I should be allowed to have such a thing. And the Magic 8 Ball, which we can all have fun and ask questions to, said no way. And I was a little bummed about that, to be honest. But my wife went ahead and got it. It was only there. It's like, what was it? Less than $2. less than $2. So it's under, I think, fidget toys. If you like looked up fidget and pen, maybe you would find it. I don't think it's for everybody, but I think it's definitely, if you like, I think it's got a lot to do with my ADHD. I always like to have something to fiddle with, and yeah, it kind of gives my hand something to do. And then after having played with it for a while, I noticed that my fingers are much more better dexterity, I guess. So yeah, it really works out. It is fun. It is so the shop that we ordered it from, you couldn't pick which color you got. And there was red, blue, green, and purple. And so I really wanted red because red is my favorite color. And we figured that buying 2 of them would be a better odds that I would get my red. And it turns out I got red and purple. And yeah, I couldn't be more pleased. I have the purple one is beside the where I sleep on the bed. There's like a little ledge there, and I have that one there. So sometimes before, as I'm like winding down and trying to, you know, get ready to go to sleep, I will sit and I will just twirl it, and it calms my mind. And I really, I really cherish that kind of whatever. Unfortunately, I can't do it all the time. I can't manage to get the brain to slow down enough that that it's really calming or whatever. So yeah, it's, yeah, I don't know. I suppose I could. I suppose I could probably be way more relaxed, but it would mean I'd be a lot less productive. And that would probably fall into me getting really down on myself for not accomplishing things. But like I said, having it give me a better range of dexterity gives me the ability to actually work longer without my hands getting too cramped up or anything. So that's good. I worry about things like carpal tunnel, and that's why I don't make my hands the bigger part of like what you see. I let you see the strings doing their magic, because I do believe that everybody needs to find their way to do it. If you do it and after 10 minutes your hands are cramping, you're doing it wrong. It has to be a comfortable fit for you, and I think that's really important. I've seen, you know, where other people talk about, you know, you do this and you do. Some people can do stuff that I can't even imagine. I've seen somebody take a bracelet and hold it with 2 fingers and then use the rest to actually tie the knots. Personally, there is no physical way I could do it. It's just not happening at all. First, the whole thing sliding through your fingers must mean that you'd have to, the grip that you would put in those fingers. Wow. And then the dexterity to move the rest of your hand and your other fingers to do it, impossible. So for me, I developed using a board, using a clip. I don't know, you can't see the clip. There's a clip up there that's holding it on place. I also have clips on the sides, and then there's a clip over on the other side over there. So yeah, that's my way of dealing with it without having to overtax my fingers, because I don't want to be in pain. I don't want the thing that, you know, brings me so much joy to be a real burden or a problem or whatever. Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't have to necessarily learn how to do it like I do. my way and your ways are probably just fine. I've seen your work. Your work is gorgeous. So, you're obviously doing well at how you do it. Yeah, see, and again, I've actually witnessed these kind of people in person, and I marveled over their ability. And I asked if it gets kind of old, if your hands start to, oh, a little bit. They say, it's not so bad. My hands hurt after a couple hours, and I'm like, I sometimes not for much longer than that, and here's how I do it. And I don't expect them to necessarily change, but if there's a way to make it potentially less of a headache. And mind you, I did make a bracelet on my flight from Detroit to Singapore. I made a bracelet for myself, and I wore that thing for about 6 years before it finally started to get so frayed that I was concerned about it falling off, and I didn't want to lose it. So I took it off, and it's preserved somewhere. I think it might be in the jewelry box. Not 100% where I put it, but I know it's in this house. I know that if winning $1 million was dependent on me finding it, I know it's here. I couldn't tell you where, but I know it's here. Yeah, and you know what? That is a real possibility. It might. I'll just try to get my hands up higher, see if you can't figure it out. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding the string. So I did half the knot, right? And then I'm going to put this loop, because this string is over a couple meters long, and it's folded in half. And I put that middle port right over top of the string I'm going over. So when I tie the second part of this knot, it just locks this thing in. Like, that's not going anywhere. Then I take the new long one, do half the knot, and then take the short one, put it into the middle. So when I go ahead and tighten down this knot, this shorter one now is held in place. It's gonna keep it, from going anywhere. And now I'm going over, there's a lot of string right here. I did add as I was coming to this direction. So as I do this, there's going to be four sets all at once. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I tie it really nice and tight, because I don't want the knot itself to seem bigger than everything else. And believe it or not, it's no pun intended. Believe it or not, it's almost invisible. You can't see what happened there. And that's part of the whole plan, is to make it almost invisible, that you can add the strings. And once I have this thing hanging up on my wall, nobody's gonna question, oh, is this the row you added string? Nobody's gonna know. It's just gonna look like it was just one big massive thing that was made. So when I'm going to the left, right, I hold the bass string in my right hand, and I'm just kind of come over my finger, I guess it's my middle finger, comes up and under to kind of grab it. That's how that goes that way. Do another one here with this blue. Mind you, I think I showed you guys last week the cut string, which is there we go. So I cut out of all that cut string, it was 120 skeins. I am now almost out of the blue, the orange, and the reds. I still have a fair amount of the yellow and the white, and I don't think I've used any of the light blue. The light blue is the one that got replaced several rows up higher. Okay, so now... Oh, once upon a time, I would say the most commonly used color was black, but now I don't like using black as much because it gets really tiresome on my eyes. I really don't know what color I use the most. I can so relate to Amanda's inability to remember the users' names. That is, yeah, I I often have problems. If you have, or if you're trying to build an Instagram account or a Facebook account or whatever, don't change your profile image too often, because people like myself and possibly Amanda there can testify that we don't remember the names, but we'll remember what the image looks like. And if you go and change that up on us, it feels like we're looking at a whole different person. So yeah, that's a thing. Yeah. No, that's a different one. Who did the tie-dye yarn? Creation Chaos, right? Yeah, Creation Chaos and whatever that other name. Two names, I always confuse them together. But yeah, you can wonder. Let's see, does the zoom work? So that blue knot right there is 4 strands all together. This white knot is only 2, and seriously, you cannot see the difference. It's just a way that it works. I don't know how, but it's really convenient. I'm gonna add some more string here. These blues are really getting kind of short, and I might not necessarily have had to have changed it this moment, but it's better to change it when it's convenient than to suddenly realize that you have no choice and you have to do it immediately. Yes, she does. I made a bag with her. I had her tie-dye basically to make red, and then red and orange, and then yellow and orange, then yellow, all the way down through the whole rainbow. And what it did was it ended up making the bag look like it was tie-dyed, because I went through the whole sequence exactly like that. And so in between where, like, say the red and the orange come together, you have this one where it just changes. And so it looked like the colors were sort of bleeding into each other or something. It was really super cool. Really had a lot of fun. I'd been wanting to do that for a while, and she made it possible. And so, yeah, I didn't mind the fact that it was, she turned around and gave it away, in the contest, which helped her get more followers or whatever. So yeah, it was all good. Everybody was happy in the end. I got to finally see it come to fruition. So basically, I'm done with this string here. So I'm gonna go ahead and make it, wait, let's take it from this side, put it in through the back. So that's how I'm using this, the hole is like when the string is no longer needed or whatever, it goes that way. So we go the white over top of this. All right. Kind of in a bad spot to trying to show you how I not because there's so much string to be added here. And mind you, unlike last week, I actually started off with some string hanging off to the side of me, so I didn't have to get up and go over to the wall and get more string. So, do a little better every time, right? That's the goal. All right. And basically, it's the same way I'm adding string each and every time. I think the real art to it is in trying to find a convenient place where like the string is going in a general direction. That definitely helps, I think, make it come out a little bit neater. It's not 100% necessary, but it does. I do find that it helps. And I try to go over each time I add the string, I try to go over it a good couple, 2-3 times at least, in order to make certain that the string is going to not come out after it's been cut, you know, close on the back side. So it's really seriously not likely to come undone, but I get paranoid. And I like to make sure it's really thorough. Yeah, as far as Creation Chaos's tie-dyed floss, I definitely see the possibility of doing another collaboration with her in the future. I really had a lot of fun. The bag turned out really cool. So yeah, that's a real possibility. Now see, like this red string, this is really, really short. This is almost a problem here. And this orange is really short too. That one's gonna be. So my next diamond down is going to be changing out that orange and changing out this red for sure. So how is everybody else doing on this Friday night? Or, well, I guess some of you it'll be Friday morning. To you, people who it's morning, good morning. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'm not much of a morning person myself. That's the magic 8 ball if everybody fell asleep. I think the music might be a little bit too chill. Everybody's relaxing or something. Saturday night at 10:34. And if I said Friday before, it's probably because my brain is just Yes, I know you've had a rough one there. How did Mandy ask Magic 8 Ball and it not work? It was working earlier, right? No? Hang on, I need to fix this. Hang on, there, try it now. Ah. So that's pretty cool. So what are you making, Amanda? Yeah, color changes and stuff on alphas would definitely is much like adding string here, I suspect. The whole inability to keep a momentum going just sucks the life out of the project. I can relate to that. I don't know if anybody saw I've only made the one bag in the alpha pattern, and yeah, I absolutely hated it. Alphas seemed like they just take so much longer, and that I suspect knots are knots, and it's, you know, the same amount. It just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't have that accomplishment vibe. Unfortunately, I don't get to look that one up. Something about having my hands tied here. But I'll try to look at that later. So it still didn't work, right? Saved. I don't know. Less than 20 strings, right? Oh. My wife just pulled up the pattern. It's actually really pretty. That's a nice one. Okay, so at Rainbow, this is, I use my right hand just to pretty much hold all the strings that are going to be in the row that I'm coming down. And then from there, I sort of just isolate out the one that I'm going to tie to. And then just kind of comes around my finger over there, through. And this is why going to the right for me is the easier one, because I can hold all the other strings I'm going to tie to in my hand. It doesn't work like that when I'm going to the left, and I'll show you that in a second. And I would zoom out with the camera a little bit more than it is, but that's actually as far out as it goes. So. Okay, so now going the other direction, I get all of the strings I'm going to tie to off into a group. And then I find the string that I'm going to tie to, grab hold of it, get it out of the way, and then go to the next one, get a hold of it. I still have the first one in my hand, but I have this, the one I'm going to tie to is kind of wedged between the fingers a little bit more. And that way I can kind of go through the whole group and keep adding them into my hand, and it keeps them out of my way when trying to find the next set. Because I have it doubled up, it's just a little bit easier this way. So, I don't know. I think there's a command for a timer. What is the... tells you where we are in the thing. Uptime. Type in... and it should tell you where we are in the video. Yep. Is it going to do it? Try it with an exclamation point. Ah, there we go. So when you're Rainbow, when you're trying to look this up and figure out where I was doing it, it was sometime just before 41 minutes and 13 seconds. So cool little thing the robot's supposed to be doing. I don't know if he's doing the 8-ball and stuff yet. Why is it not working? I don't... Ah. It's most likely ignoring her? That's so mean. Okay, so at this one, the oranges are short, but I don't get to do a whole lot with it right away, but the reds will be. So I'm just go ahead, tie the two oranges together and get the reds to add to that. Hang on, I'll be right back. I think, honestly, if you look back at any of the past few weeks of the videos, the bot always seems to have a thing for Rainbow Haze. It always like fancies her over everybody else. Oh, that is a possibility. Yeah, we should probably try to like figure out how these things actually work, so that way some point down the line we can like confidently tell people how to have fun with some of this stuff. Okay, see, there you go. All right. So I don't know if you can see this. I've tied once with the red over top of the orange. Now I'm going to add a whole brand new red one. And that's another thing I should mention, right? So that's on there, and then I tied the rest of the knot over. Now that's locked in nice and tight. Because I'm adding so much string, let's see, there's a image here. This is what it looks like on the side of the desk, like where it wraps around to the right hand side. That's what it looks like. And that pile of string is pretty intense because I've added so much string to it, right? That it's all like that. Yeah, it's kind of a doozy. And it's just going to get more and more intense as this project gets bigger and bigger, right? Like right now you have a lot of the work at the top, but you also have these long strings. The last time I went through this, most of the strings were really short except for where I'd added the light blue. Well, now I've added so many more things. Yeah. Oh, and so this method for adding the strings, I can tell you that I have done things like guitar straps using this method, and it works out great because well, as long as you kind of stay to the middle when you're adding the strings, but it turns out great because you can't see where it is, and the fabric or whatever that you're creating is still really good and strong. Now, mind you, in order to make it so that way the thing didn't get all stretched out of shape, I sewed the bracelet stuff to leather. And so the leather is basically taking the brunt of the work of holding up the guitar, because guitars are kind of heavy. And the bracelet's just there to be pretty, which it does very well. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's part of the what I want to be able to teach is the idea that maybe I'm showing you how to do a wall hanging today, but what you use it for tomorrow can be anything to your heart's content. It could be a guitar strap. It could be, at one point, that image on my website there, that big bracelet thing, that was going to be for the back of a denim jacket. I don't know what it's, a trapezoid shape that's the back patch. That's what was going to be for it. I was going to sew it to the inside of the jacket and then cut out that part of the jacket, kind of let it be frayed denim, and let the pattern or something kind of shine through it. That was the plan. The problem was that is DMC floss, which is really super teeny tiny, and it was taking forever, and DMC floss became expensive over time. So it never got finished. I still have it. I just never finished it. But yeah, so that's another idea of something that you could make with it. You could make the wall hangings like I was talking about. You could do pillows. I a couple weeks last week did a video on Friday where oh, I still have it. I'm thinking about doing a pillow out of this. Not sure about the colors per se, but out of this. So yeah, I kind of really leaning towards this aquamarine thing that I did a long time ago. The problem is I don't have the fade for it to be able to order the strings. It's obviously going to use a lot of string, and I'm not sure that I have enough of the string to do a tester here at the house. If I do, that would work out great, because I would like to see whether or not the earthy brown tones and stuff, if that maybe does turn out better, because Rainbow Haze has told me that she really likes the colors I chose for the little swatch that I was working on, and I get it. I mean, it's a nice look, just somewhere in my heart, I had a different idea. All right, yeah, that's another cool one. That one doesn't require adding any string, but yeah, the making hair ties and stuff. I did the bows as well as what was the other? Oh, she's actually wearing it. I made tubes that I ran elastic through and for doing ponytails. So that's pretty neat. So, okay, so the math for measuring to be able to do the stuff, that can be relatively easy. If you go onto AKAAWOL.com, there's a lot of tutorials, and I wish I knew the title to be able to point you to the right one. But it comes down to this. Let's say you make this bracelet. And I don't remember exactly how many strings. Well, I guess I can figure that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 on here, 8 here. That's 16 strings in this space. So those 16 strings equal whatever this is. Let's say that's an inch. So it's 16 strings per inch. However, if you were to do this, say 10 times over, right? You're going to be 1/16 of this added each of those 10 times. So that's like, you would have to take a 1/16 of an inch and multiply that by 10, because when you join two bracelets together, you get one more row, and that's what kind of throws off the measurements. But if you know that that's how it works, you can actually, there's some arithmetic or algebra or whatever for that, where you just need to know how much one bracelet is, and from there you should be able to make anything of any size without too much headache, really. Hopefully that helps. On the web page, I had my wife, who is way more articulate, help write out what the actual formula is. And I even went so far as to show how I have swatches, because one of the big things is when I made my first bag, which we just celebrated the 7-year anniversary to. I don't have a photo here. That bag had, I think, 144 strings. No, there's probably more than that. I don't remember exactly. But I made a second bag with a different embroidery floss. And as a result, because it was different and I didn't know that going in, I did the same exact number of strings and the bag came out much, much bigger. And the problem there was my wife didn't want a bigger bag. She wanted a bag the same size as what I made. When I had made that bag, I made it out of this really cheap and difficult to work with embroidery floss. It was like $2 for like a dozen skeins. So we didn't want to use that. We got better string, but it was a completely different size. So you want to make a little swatch out of the strings that you intend to use, because that will make all the difference in the world. And I know it doesn't seem like, floss could be that much of a difference in size, but you're talking about a fraction of whatever, a millimeter, in a difference. But when you do it 120 strings, or in this case, this is what, 866 strings for this project. So you can imagine that little difference would make a huge difference on the overall. So I would have to see I don't know what your pencil case necessarily looks like. You can look through some of my old videos. I did a change purse, right? Which basically just started out with a cylinder. And when I got to the end, of how long I wanted it, I used these ends to just turn it inside out and tie them off as a knot. That gave me a nice flat side there. And on the top side was I sewed a zipper into it. So if your pencil case had like a zipper like that, you could at the end you could put a zipper there. Somewhere around here I have a pencil case that's sort of like that. This is a tin can that I basically made a bracelet thing all the way around. It was measured to be the length for this, right? So yeah, I've got the play button on it. It says AWOL. This also says AWOL here. So yeah, it would just be something. As I'm imagining a pencil case in my mind, I would be like this, only much longer. That would be one way of doing it. When it comes to like stitching the end, like I said, this is an example. This is nice and flat. So if you have the other side as a zipper and it's just longer, that would work. This one is being used to protect. I have a light for when I'm photographing or filming. Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways you could potentially do it. If you made it a flat piece of fabric like this, you could bring it around and then sew a zipper in that way, right? If you made it so that way you had like 4 triangle pieces on the top and at the bottom, you could fold those 4 in and you would get it kind of boxy and stuff. So that way with your zipper, it would work. Yeah. If you have a photo of what you want to make, you could shoot that over, like say an Instagram or an email, and I can see if I can't give you a better idea of how to maybe pull it off. But those are just some ideas off the top of my head. Like if I was going to try to do a pencil case, those are ways that I would go about doing it. So my mom was a seamstress, so I watched her make so many things. You know, she would just be sewing, and you know, I had clothing and stuff that was made by my mom, which back when you're a little kid, it's not cool because, you know, whatever. But looking back now, I would love to still have clothes that would fit me that she had made, because now it's cool. But seeing some of how that worked out, also having had I did pretty well in drafting class, I can kind of figure out how to put together things like making bags. If you go into AKAAWOL.com and you go to my portfolio and you look under the I know it's silly. I know this is completely silly. If you look under where it says Rapunzel, you tap on that, you'll get to all the bags. All the bags are Rapunzel because the first bag I made, I screwed around and put it on my head and had all of the long strands all hanging down. And it was, I was teasing with the wife and like, it's like Rapunzel, with her long hair. And it was just funny, and I know that it doesn't necessarily help people figure out where to find the bags, but yeah, that's what it is. It's under the tab Rapunzel. Oh, that sounds kind of fun. Folds into a roll and rolls out with a zipper inside. I can't picture how the zipper inside works. The rolling out part sounds a little bit like something I keep my paintbrushes in. I like to do watercolor. I have a bunch of paint brushes, and I keep it in a case. There was, well, the case I have is flat, like a notebook sort of thing. But there was an alternative one that was similar that rolled. I don't see how the zipper works, but yeah, okay. You might want to try doing fabric where you have it like attached to leather. Like that might work out really cool. Oh, I'm sorry to see you go, Amanda. So this is leather and bracelet work, where the bracelet goes underneath and the stitching here is holding it into place. So something like that you could do, and then that can kind of roll up and stuff. That might be fun. But yeah, I don't mind trying to help people out. You know, if you can, you send me some pictures or whatever, I can maybe figure it out. And I can't guarantee, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't know what the word is for that, but I definitely will give it my best. Try to make it awesome for you. I definitely want to do some more works with the bracelets. I did a video not too long ago where I made a leather bracelet with a snap that made it so that way you could take it on and off really easily and had it sewn sort of on there. That was pretty cool. That one I gave to my dad's helper, and she wears it all the time. So yeah, I definitely see myself doing more of that stuff in the future. Cool. Yeah, I've even helped people with coming up with patterns for stuff, you know. I had somebody that joined in Patreon just for the sole purpose of me helping her to figure out, realize how to do a pattern for a to represent a character in a Walt Disney series. And it was really funny because she would just overthought it. She couldn't see a simple pattern that I actually was able to actually create in moments. And yeah, that was kind of fun. It felt cool because here's a person who's couldn't for the life of her figure out how to do it. And yeah, I had a pattern drawn out in like an hour, like complete pattern, like a whole proper pattern. Actually, if you want a really cool pencil case, I got one on AliExpress. What would we pay for that? Like less than 10? Less than $10 for this pencil case. Oh, I do have it. Okay, check this out. It's kind of silly. A lemon, the best is yet to come. I didn't exactly get it for that, but when you unzip this, the top part up here, this whole thing slides down. Hard to do this on camera. And sits on your desk nice and flat with all of the ends of the pen sticking out. It was relatively cheap. I plan on trying to do it out of bracelets, and it slides up and then zips. But when when you just have it sitting on the desk. Let's see if I can. Not bad, right? It was cheap, and like I said, I intend on one day trying to do it in bracelet stuff. It, I don't know. It makes me happy. It's all my pens that if I go like on a staycation or something, I bring it along and I use art to try to um, be calming and stuff. And I try to not bring string on my vacations anymore. Not because I don't like string, but because I do this, you know, so many days every week. Um, it's nice to get a break from it and try something else artistic. So I have a series of small little project notebooks or whatever that I draw in and paint with, and I've been wanting to actually take a day off and do it. I used to, back before the whole pandemic got stupid. I used to go out and then go sit in a coffee shop and, you know, drink coffee and paint. But now with the whole masks and the whole craziness outside, I just don't enjoy spending my time in a mask like that. So I don't go out, and I don't end up drawing, and I don't end up doing anything else, and I end up doing this all the time. So yeah. The plus side is I will get through this sooner. The downside is I kind of do want to do other stuff too. So Ocean Current, where are you from? Like, you don't have to say specifically, don't, like, you know, give addresses, but like, are you in the US or Europe or? Oh, cool. Is that a nice way of saying New Jersey? Kidding. I used to be from Detroit, so I originally am from that time zone. Helena has made it. Hello. Welcome. There's another person who's up early today. Glad you could make it. So you're a little late here, Helena. I'll tell you what I have going on. I cut a hole in the board that I'm using and am now sending all of the strings that have been replaced through the hole. There's quite a bit back there. And it's keeping it so that way I don't have to pull the whole thing forward, which is because it's getting so big, started to be kind of a problem. as far as like how efficiently I could do this. So that's what's really new. That's the big takeaway here today. Yeah, it's about the time I get up every morning, so I guess that's not too terribly early. I didn't realize that an hour had passed. Time flies. Yeah, it just happens to work out because of the easel that I have. The easel has, well, here, image, this one. The easel has this whole kind of grid system that holds the stuff on there, which is great with the clips. I can put on different size boards and stuff. But it turns out for this, it works out perfect. It really has made my life a whole lot easier, because as the side gets longer, which is this one, like all this over here, trying to pull all that out and to get to the behind it to cut off all those little loose strings was really a problem. Hey Elizabeth, how you doing? Oh, that's good. I'm glad you like it. Since a couple of weeks. 4 a.m. Wow. Wow. 4 in the morning. Holy. Yeah. So yeah, that's, wow, 4 in the morning. Holy crap. So I just realized it's been over an hour. I have not mentioned, let me just throw this out there. These are my Patreon people. I definitely appreciate everything they've done. They've kept this channel going essentially by giving me encouragement even when, you know, I didn't necessarily feel like doing it. If you want to join Patreon, I say absolutely do it, but this is sort of the end of the month, so I would probably wait until the first of the month, only because then you get, you know, you don't get double billed because they bill at the first of the month. So yeah, it could be it is sort of like that. Absolutely, it is sort of like a puppet show thing. I can get little finger puppets and keep myself amused. Sure, why not? Ask my wife. I do enough voices. I could probably, seriously, the look on her face, if you could see this right now. She's imagining me doing finger puppets for her. Which reminds me. So the whole reason I'm here in Singapore is because of my wife, obviously. And we used to communicate with webcams all the time. And one day, I don't know what possessed me, but I was sitting on the couch and I turned my legs to face towards the camera and realized, oh, hey, I got an idea. I did a smiley face on my big toe. And then suddenly that just, you know, I'm laid back and suddenly this big toe just comes up into the screen with a smiley face and starts popping along. Yeah. The look on her face over here, she's totally squirming and giggling and stuff. So yeah, back in the day, I used to do cutesy things and yeah, puppet show. Yeah, I could entertain the wife really good. Good times, good times. I think you have to run the idea past the boss. She's the look on her face. was I would describe it most as bracing for um yeah, mayhem. There you go. And mind you, I'm such a sucker for her attention that if I thought for a moment the puppet show was going to keep her, focused on me for a while, it would happen. See, this is what I love about live streams versus me making videos. Like, when I make a video, I'm teaching you how to do a particular thing, and the conversation is very one-sided. This is hilarious. This is way more fun. Mind you, don't get the idea like I'm not going to do videos anymore. I totally am. I'm rather looking forward to getting in some other videos. It's just a matter of basically finding time when I'm not doing this. I already made videos about different aspects of this, but yeah. If I come up with something that I'm going to work on, as well, then yeah, there'll be videos there. So definitely planning on it. Just don't know what it'll be or when it'll be. I had thought about getting out. I never finished my jack-o'-lantern bracelet that I started last year. I thought about getting it out and working on it, but in the end I decided that I'd really much rather see this whole thing finished. Yeah. So now that the strings are getting longer, like I was saying, that image from on the side, the big thing about that is there's not even that much of the work having gone around that corner, and there's such a big pile of string there. As this continues to shift, the size of that pile of string just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's, yeah. Mind you, I don't do a whole lot to try to keep it from getting tangled, because it goes over there, like, so when I finish this row right here is done, right? As I bring this around, I kind of just lay it on the top, and that's how it kind of keeps from getting itself too tangled up or into a bunch, because we don't want our strings in a bunch, right? Yes, very important. But yeah, so far, mind you, I haven't used them all. There's still a number of strings still hanging, but we're almost up to 439 skeins of floss in use. Because I will definitely, the orange, the blue, and the red are almost all used up. So sometime this week, I'll be cutting more of those. And yeah, that'll definitely, mean that the count will be well over that 439 altogether. So yeah, kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Somebody was asking me last week whether or not I still have to look at the patterns to do this. I don't, although I do like having this nearby, because this is basically how the shapes interact with each other. So the white one on the left hand side, that to me, that's number one, and its counterpart, the one that's just below it, will always be the one that's below it. So yeah. The length will be about 60 cm. So yeah, coming up and down, it'll be a roughly 60 cm. Right now, it's yeah, I have a picture of me with it. The longer side that's on the right side of that photo, that is currently down to about 30 cm. Its width is 140 cm, or 55 inches, which is like 4.5 foot. So yeah, ish big, ish very big. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Mind you, when I last weighed it, it was before I really added all the string. It was 651 grams. Now that I'm adding so much more string to it, yeah, it's just continually gaining weight. Yeah, it is pretty neat. I'm really happy with it. I really, can't wait to have it up on the wall. And the whole idea, this oddly enough, started from conversations that started with Bacha coffee, B-A-C-H-A coffee, and how they have this really great color palette. And then we were talking about, like, what does that make you think of or whatever. And for me, it kind of reminded me of this mosque. Is it Turkish? No, Iran. So it kind of reminded me of this mosque and how the tiles and stuff. And then we found out that the Bacha coffee was actually inspired by Morocco, a palace in Morocco. And so we were kind of, looking at images or whatever, and I could kind of see that in the tiles themselves that there was this possibility that I could mimic some of the tiles. And then when I realized that I could increase, like, if all the tops are always in the same sequence and the bottom is always in the same sequence, I could make different tiles within that constraint. And that's how this all came about. So all those, when you look at all of these, all of the strings at the top are in the same sequence, and at the bottom it's in a different kind of sequence. And that's what makes this next row all start their top in a certain sequence, and they all end up as how the first row is, if that makes sense. I think the sentence kind of got away from me, but hopefully you get the gist of that. Why I decided to make the wall hanging so darn difficult is completely beyond me. Looking back, it's like I could have made this so much easier. But now that I'm this far into it, it's like I'm kind of glad that I went as difficult as I did, because it really is stunning. And I didn't want to do like a wall hanging. I know there's some people that do wall hangings where they start the whole thing on a wooden dowel. And the reason I didn't go that route was I wanted to be able to, it's canvas, it's heavy duty canvas. I want to be able to throw it in the washing machine if it gets dirty. If it's been hanging on the wall for 10 years and it's getting dusty and whatever, I want to be able to take it down and wash it. So I'm not sure if it's going to be up with clips, or if I'm going to take it somewhere and have them help frame it and put it behind, squeeze it between a board and some glass, or quite how I'll do it. But I do know that at the end of the day, I will be able to wash it if it needs it. Oh, or so last week there was an error. No, I did figure it out and got it all. Took me ages to undo knots. If that's what you're talking about, where I had it was let's see which one you can see. That one. This pattern right here was next to each other. Yeah, I was not pleased. Um, no pun intended. I made a mistake and put in this design twice in a row, and I ended up having to take out like 3 squares worth of knots in order to undo that mistake. And yes, I did get that sorted. And yes, it bothered me to no end. And that's another thing that can zap all your energy out of you. If you get going too quickly and you make a foolish mistake, you may have thought you were saving time by going quick, but if you have to undo all your work, you really didn't save any time. So yeah. So Rainbow, when you do your knots, which direction does the way that I hold it, which way is closer to your way? I'm going to the right or to the left? I don't know. Most of what you guys can't see over here is the fact that all these strings have gotten really, really long. These are, I cut my string into thirds, so when I add on a piece, it is really super long. And one of my big problems I'm finding is that because I'm not way up high on the clipboard, that the string drags all the way to the floor. Oh, I was asking, so when you tie your knots, which way is closest, like when you go to the left or to the right, looks more like how I do my knots? Mind you, I have a hard time picturing how anybody else does things differently, because the art of how I hold strings, how I do my stuff it's so rigid. I do it the same exact way all the time, so I can't really properly imagine it differently. But like, do you hold it like this while you're going to the right? Oh shit. See, I'm busy looking up at the screen to see if you're typing. And you went right over top of that white one. Yeah, let's see if I can back this camera out just a little bit here. So there we go. There is a teeny magnet. It's really strong little ones holding my needle. Normally this needle hooks to that can that I was showing earlier, and I keep it just in case, you have to undo a knot. The needle itself is a needlepoint needle, as opposed to cross stitch or some of the other arts with string. And the reason is a needlepoint needle is really dull. The point on it, it's fat and it's dull, and it's great for taking out knots without destroying the string. So yeah, and then I just have a bit of macrame at the end of it, which matched the can and makes it easier in case I drop it on the floor. I can find it. It won't bounce as much. Yeah, I'm really dying to see if you try the way I do it, if it makes a difference. If it helps with so even just like cutting the hole in the board, right? It comes down to, I am constantly looking for methods that makes it easier or faster. One of those two. I was thinking maybe there was a third to that, but no, I'm just looking to make it as easy as possible and to go as quickly as possible. And I kind of like by holding, see, like even these ones here, right? These are not going to get used, but I just want them out of my way. So I hold them with like down here. Then the string that I'm going to tie to, I have that in between my fingers. I can pull that nice and not too taut, but keep it nice and straight while the other string goes up and over it. Then it almost just out of reflex, it ends up with the rest of the group. And as I grab up the next one, it's all about trying to enhance my experience, try to make it go just a little bit faster without things in my way. Oh, that's right. Oh, wait, when is our next Patreon hangout? It's the beginning of the month, right? It's that a week from tomorrow, right? Because tomorrow's Sunday, but it's still the end of the month. Right. That's a good plan. Thank you. I almost forgot all about it. I need to remind Mandy to make the link more obvious in the newsletter. And to any of the Patreon people, is Helena still here? Yeah. Watch the newsletter for the winning bracelet for the month. Right. So yeah, it's quite possible that I favor my left hand, which is not common for people who are right-handed, but for whatever reason, I tend to favor my left, and so it is quite possible that you're doing it as a proper right-handed person, and so that might make more sense. So yes, Rainbow, you might watch what I'm doing, but then think about it doing it the other way around, because that might make more sense. I think I'm gonna have to add to these yellows. They're kinda, I don't like how short those are. Hang on, let me grab yellow. I haven't had to replace all the yellows. It just seems that certain ones got used more or whatever. And I recently just did one where I waited too long, and that was really a problem. So rather than doing that again, I can just go ahead and fix that now. Yes. There is a whole thing about being used to a certain way that makes doing anything else feel impossible. I wholeheartedly agree. Helena, you are absolutely welcome to come. I live in Asia, and a vast number of the people I talk to, English is their second language. And I have more respect for people who, can do two languages. That to me is incredible, considering I'm an American, and honestly, doing one language poorly, I would say. So no, you're absolutely welcome. You can chat and have a few laughs with us, or you can be quiet and see the rest of us be silly. It's okay. Come have fun. We're all like family, really. It's a lot of fun. Hello, John. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's getting bigger a lot. Like, well, let's wait. One, not the image I want. Wait, where's the other? It's that one. Nope. 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 Which? There it is. So, the side on the right is what I'm adding to, and it's quite a bit bigger than that already. Like a whole extra section, I think. So yeah, it's moving along. course, I'd like it to go move along faster, but it is. Yeah, so it'll be the patron hangout will be a week from tomorrow. I wish I could be like more flexible with the hours. It really, honestly, is more about my wife's father and, you know, making sure he's off to bed and you know, that's it's a real big factor here because you never know. You like um start getting uppity and wanting to use the phone and call around and just all sorts of weird stuff. He's just as time progresses, his needs are changing. Yeah, third sounds good. That sounds, yeah, because the line, which image was that? Two. So the line on the right hand side, like where it's coming down to, is coming to the halfway point. So a third makes sense, like maybe a little bit more than a third. But yeah, because it's not to the halfway point. Obviously, if I was at the halfway point, the this row would be all here. This would all be over with. So yeah, mind you, I'm not that great at math. So, I don't know. It's quite a ways. Every day I'm getting a little closer. And so, oh, does your clipboard have the gaps in the back, or is it solid wood across there? Or not clipboard, your easel. Is it a solid piece, or is it got like a framework? The reason I ask is, let's see, image 3. This is what I've done. So my easel has like a framework in wood, and putting a hole through the canvas boards I have clipped to the front of it has made it so that way every time I add string, the short ends don't have to be cut off immediately. They can just get kind of thrown to the back. It's saving me a lot of time only because this thing is so huge, and moving it off of the clipboard. Oh, imagine if I have to take off that clip that's on the side there and then pull all that out and around with all those that loose string there, it's hanging down, gets kind of caught on things. Yeah, it's right, yeah. So yeah, if you ever get into the bigger stuff, you might want to take a look at an easel like mine. Yeah, I thought yours might be solid. I didn't realize it was for an iPad though. That's pretty cool. And yeah, no, I totally agree. The way you have it set up, it's perfect for what you're trying to do. You just basically need to be able to sit comfortably and have your work in front of you. And if you need to get up and go, a pop-up notice saying OBS had a problem. It disconnected for a second. That was weird. Yeah, one of these days I'll probably have to go look up what you're using and add it to the whole list of things for people to as recommendations, as opposed to using pillows and safety pinning to their jeans and such. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think it really makes it all the difference in the world. My wife got me a really good chair for mine, and I think it makes all the difference in the world. Like, whether if you're gonna spend time, you know, working consistently, um, being comfortable is a real big important thing. The other like obvious thing, I guess, is um, it's not just about like the comfort of like when you're just sitting there, but it's the peace of mind knowing that it's just how you left it when you go to get up. Like I used to just use a clipboard and go like to concerts and stuff in Detroit, like the public concerts outdoor thing, and bring it along because people would notice and like buy my stuff. Um, but the thing about it versus having an easel is the ability to get up from what you're doing and then coming back to it being exactly how you left it. That's that's something that you really just don't get it otherwise, other from than having an easel of some sort. So like the way you have it, you know, is much like the same as how I have mine. Every once in a while, you get these little knots at the end of the string, just the way it flips through or something. Drives me insane. Yeah, I have to admit, if for whatever reason, if there was more demand for doing the live streams, I think I get a lot more done when I'm sitting here talking with people than I necessarily do if I'm just got you know videos on YouTube or Netflix or something playing. I get way more done. It's like you guys somehow, in some way, push me to demonstrate what I'm capable of. I managed to work out, though, the whole where the chat is and how that works out so that way it's not right behind the camera and I'm not doing this anymore. So, little improvements here or there. cool. Yeah, dropping a board. Oh my God. Rainbow, if that thing hits your feet, you're gonna know it. Oh my God. Um, Everybody all chatting at once. Hang on. So a sewing awl, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that like a really pretty sharp point to it? Like the needle I have is dull. Like I don't think I could break skin with it at all. And because it's relatively dull, I mean, it's not a terrible point or anything. It doesn't break the fibers of the string so much. A support for a tablet. I'm guessing it sounds to me like you have something like what John has, which it sits on the desk. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Though it seems like a really clever idea. It's as opposed to an easel, it's its own thing. That's way cool. That's innovative. I like how everybody all chatted all at once and then suddenly gets quiet again. It's fun. So, yeah, absolutely. The big easel I have behind me is great, but it's sort of huge, and if you're gonna end up moving around at all, then it was really overkill. Plus I have like, at times I've taken off the little wing nuts and stuff that are used to hold it in a certain way, and taken them off for the purpose of getting the thing that like holds down your canvas to get it completely out of the way. So like that one was way more than I needed. The one that I have here was a lot less expensive and has turned out to be what I use most of the time now. The little ones that I started out with, the very, very small ones, so this kind here, I started out with this, but the problem with this is it's so lightweight that as you're pulling on the strings, you can have it, or the weight of your work can cause it to fall over. So I definitely don't recommend this per se. I had two of them and I made a lot of my first bags with these, and they're about $12 or $15 each. So it's not, if you're looking for inexpensive, that works. The big easel there is huge. It's really, really overkill. But it will do just about anything you can imagine. Like how, if you want to do bags, you want to do bracelets, you want to do whatever, it's a-okay. So yeah, just a heads up. But yeah, I totally get it, because you don't want to spend a bunch of money on something that you end up shelving relatively quickly. that was one of my easels that used to hold boards on it. So, right. Okay. Well, it's. I don't mean to be picky. I was just trying to find people to talk to, and yeah. So yeah. Right. So yeah. So I don't know if you. Let's see. Image. This. Nope. So this is an easel on my desk that's actually I put the board to it. Prior to up till like I think Tuesday, that piece of board was a solid piece, and I just put a hole in it because of adding the strings. But it makes it easier to do what I do. And like I said, I can get up and go to the toilet and come back and everything is exactly how I had it. Mind you, let me pan this camera around over here. I have a series of clips at the bottom, and what those do is, like, I'm done using all these right here, right? I won't use them again until I get to the next top part. So I bring them off to the side, and then I just sort of flip the top, I don't know what you call that, the releasey thing to the clip, and it keeps off to the side. Then if I want to get some other strings, maybe these ones, you know, boom, I have another clip to put it to. So that's how I do it, and it really helps with how efficient I am. You don't have to do it that way. It's just, you know, if you're curious as to what I'm doing, I'm crazy enough to try to tackle stupid huge projects. So if you're curious, that's how I'm doing it. Oh, and like, so the strings, these strings here, right, are sort of not getting used at the moment, but will be used momentarily. They are just kind of hanging around this. They're not going to get tied this second. So just putting them around another little clip there helps for me to sort of keep it available, but out of my way. Because, you know, if you're not using the string, then it doesn't need to be right there underfoot, you know. Mind you, these are techniques for things where you have more than, you know, 16 strings. You know, when you start getting 50 strings, or you get, you know, whatever, that's when you'll really kind of notice the need for such stuffs. Right. Yeah, and for me, these clips they're stupid cheap, and you know, they will last you for years and years and years as long as you keep them dry. If you get them wet, they'll kind of rust, but they'll last for ages, and they're so cheap. I think the biggest ones here that I'm using, I think you can get, I think they're less than like 50 cents each or something at like a like an office supply kind of place. And you don't need that many. I have a number. But now I got these ones. These ones are shaped the same in general, except for they're all kind of wiry and cute and shiny. I like shiny. I figure if I'm gonna have to look at the whole thing, I just want it to be pretty. I know, might be weird, but it does. That's part of, you know. I'd love to have like a custom made clip, like this one. I like this kind of clip, but I want it to be out of like a denser metal and then like engrave the AWOL logo thingy into it. Definitely, though, they come in handy if you ever end up doing huge project. So, like the small ones, I used the small ones when I was keeping all the strings in the right sequence for doing the 144 color bag. That involved having baggies with the 4 colors to each one of the sets pinned, like clipped with those kind of clips to a I have a ruler that's 1.5 meters long. Right. Yeah, I have those in different sizes too. Yep. Yeah, I have a couple of the big ones. I have some smaller ones. I have a binder that I took these. We have a store here called Daiso where everything is like $2. I bought a few cutting boards and I made it so that way I have a binder that is full of clips. So I have all the different sizes, from the biggest ones down to the smallest, teeny tiny clips. The teeny tiny ones are sometimes nice to have, like, show you this. So off to the side here, I just have a little clip. This is keeping all the strings that are done kind of up and out around the corner. It's not a competition. I just happen to have an awful lot. It's yeah, I have clips in the way that some people used to have pogs. I have so many. But at any given time, if I need to set up for something else or doing something whatever, it can come in a whole really handy. Mind you, I'm the kind of guy that, like, I went on a vacation with my wife into Malaysia, and our first night there, because we stopped at a place that's not too far from home, but actually in Malaysia, I ended up seeing DMC floss at a really good price. Ended up buying a floss, then hit a bookstore, bought a couple of clips because I just felt lost without having string and stuff. So yeah, I ended up making bracelets while we were supposed to be out vacationing. Yeah, the googly eyes makes it pretty hilarious. You can imagine the thing looks like, you know, eyes and mouth. Could use it in the puppet show, Rainbow. Yeah, so most of the strings now that I've been adding as it comes around are really quite long, with the exception that the light blue is short again. So once I make this pass, the next round, in the next, I don't know, not the very first row, but soon after, the light blue will have to be replaced again. I think quite a few of the white and yellow will need to be replaced as well. You have a pet spider? uh, what was the one name I was using from that book, Ariel? Remember that? He had to name his sword. It had a common name. Remember the book? Anybody else read the book, Ariel? The lead kid or whatever had to name his sword, and he gave, oh, is it Fred? Maybe Fred. That was it. And then I started naming things Fred because I just thought that was hilarious. Yeah, that was why. Yeah, we had a palm, named it Fred. And I totally forgot where the reference came from, but then later went back and have a digital copy of the book Ariel, and realized that's what he named his sword. And it was just that obscureness of it that made it so much fun. Yes, poor Fred. Lack of sunlight. Ah, George the Cactus. That's awesome. Yeah, if we wanted to have plants, we would have to have it out in like the main side of the house, like the living room area. And with Dad, in his lack of eyesight and lack of memory, that probably won't pan out that well. We tried once before. We had bamboo. We bought some bamboo, and that didn't work out because Dad feels like, you need to water them a lot. He absolutely drowned the damn thing. It was terrible. And then when confronted, acted like, nope, he had nothing to do with that. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe it dripped from the ceiling from the flat above us. There's concrete fucking, there's, oh man. It was like, of all the stupid fucking lies, he went with that. Go figure. Well, see, our problem for us is the way that the building is aligned. The only time light comes into our room is roughly all kind of just starting right now, and we'll go through like Christmas into the new year for a month or so into the new year before the sun starts to get shifting back to the north. And then when it comes over the evening, it's on the other side of the building. So like there's like a building right behind us going, almost straight out. And that blocks us from the sun most of the year. And like it's only when the sun is at the southernmost point, which is essentially America's winter, that we actually get light in our room. The other side of the house gets a lot more. Bamboo likes water, but it doesn't want, when I say drowned, it like seriously, if you can imagine a bucket just filled with water and a plant stuck in it, that's essentially what he did to it. It was supposed to be a self-watering flower pot, and because it didn't seem like there was enough water, he just kept giving it water every day. No plant likes to be cut off from air from the roots. Except, well, money plant can live like that, but most plants don't. They need air at the root. Money plant, by the way, there's another name for that. What is it called? I've only ever heard it called money plant here in Singapore, so it's a real common. It's called what? Devil's ivy. That's even weirder than money plant. Does it begin with an A? Or like, what's the technical term for it? I like it. No. I'll have to ask my buddy Dave. He taught me all kinds of stuff about plants back in the day. Yeah, so certain times of the year we get the light just pours onto our side of the building, and our room gets super heated up. But it's only a short portion of the year, and part of that time of the year is rainy season, so it's not too bad. But like today, it was pretty sunny out, and it was beating on the thing. Jade plant? No, that's different. Jade is sort of a succulent. It's kind of desert-ish kind of thing. Those are way cool though, by the way. No, what's the one where the leaf is not quite heart-shaped but comes around to a point, and if you just cut off a snip of it, put it into a thing of water, it'll get roots and then goes like a long vine. You see people you know, pin it to their curtains or whatever. It just goes up and around the window. Here in Singapore, they call it a money plant. It comes, you can either have solid leaves or you can get the variegated leaves. You know, there's like different variations of these things. It's a creeping plant. It grows across the ground, and like, I think in America, I think it's like South Carolina, North Carolina. It grows grows across the ground, but it's like everybody's ever had it as a house plant, because you literally just put it in water. Yeah, money plant is the jade one. Yeah, yeah. Have you ever seen one? Like, we used to, with Dave, like that guy that I know, went to a house that takes care of the plants. They had the jade tree that was probably 50 years old and manicured like a bonsai, like the most amazing thing. Probably about 3.5, 4 foot tall. Thick. Thick. Way cool. What is... Okay. Okay, so this is... just want to stay there because I have it zoomed. That's the plant that I'm talking about. I'm not sure if you can see that well enough. God damn it. That one. If you cut it, it just turns into being more and more and more. It just goes totally crazy. See if we can find it. Porthos. That's it. I should have known that. It's called a Porthos, and they're coming like solid or variegated. Way cool. Oh, thanks, John. I just using my phone here, saw the text. Porthos, which I'm guessing is probably Greek. It sounds like something out of the legends or whatever, but yeah. Kinda, like, it does have versions there. So there's one, like, there's a park not far from our house. Like, if you go out that direction, there's a park, and that version of the plant goes and can climb up trees. Its roots actually, like, kind of burrow in and hold the plant to the tree, and the leaves on it are probably 2 foot long. Like, when it gets enough light, the leaves are like really huge, and it can dominate the the other tree that the host that it climbs and stuff. And then when it gets to the top, it just starts dangling downwards, you know, and yeah.
It was Roni named Porthos.
It was what?
It was Roni named Porthos.
Oh, why is that?
Plus described it was in 1818. It was named for Lotharinus. Later on, after they examined it more, they realized it was not exact.
Oh, wow. But they still call it Porthos when you go to the shops to buy it. Oh.
It's an injury.
Huh.
But anywhere in the south of the world.
Yeah, so there's different varieties of it. There is a variety that can climb on walls and destroy the walls, bricks and stuff like that. And then there's a kind that cannot. And they both look the same, so they're both likely to be in the same basic family. Just one is highly destructive and the other one is not. So when buying the house plant, it's best to make sure that you get the kind that's not going to try to, you know, stick to the wall. It's stupid easy to grow. They don't need real sunlight, as long as there's, you know, a little bit of light in the room. And they don't need nutrients, they just need water. You can, you know, if you have a glass of water, mind you, you gotta be careful so you don't get mosquitoes, but just having them in water, they will grow. My friend, his mom had one, and just a little vase, and the roots were so thick inside of this vase, and the stupid thing was going up a wall and around her whole kitchen. As long as you keep the roots in water, yeah, they'll flourish. I have some that my fish tank provides the water to, and so as long as I keep water in my fish tank, the plants are happily doing their thing. Yes, I have read that before. Speaking of cats, where is the Gothic, Silent Gothic something? I forgot the one. Silent Lamp? Gothic Silent Lamp? That's it. Where is she at today? Hopefully she's not like unwell or something. The last time she missed was she wasn't feeling good. Look at that. I can't believe how much I've actually accomplished here this evening. That's not bad. So it's hard to call the Porthos that invasive because it's kind of not. Like, we have, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it looks like a basket, like you would keep your remotes and stuff in on a coffee table. And the water comes in from the fish tank and then has a drain. And so there's about inch and a half of water at the bottom, and I just put a couple of these pieces of the plant and it's gone crazy with growing, and it's constantly you have to kind of point it back in the direction to where the light is, because it'll just kind of go off in its own whatever. And if you cut it, you can then put a new piece into the water, and if it ever got too thick or too big or too long, you can just cut it, and then it'll branch off in two wherever you cut it at. So it'll keep getting thicker per se, but it's not too, you won't have it dominating your whole house unless you want it to. And then you're going to have to work at it because it wouldn't be that easy. It's kind of quick growing, like compared to say a cactus, but it's not too crazy. Okay, what is next? That one. I need blue strings. Ooh, and orange. Alright, it needs some blue string. Yeah, so as I was saying before, I'm going to have to cut more string because I only have enough, by the looks of it, to do a couple more rows before I'm completely out of certain colors, that being the blue and orange and red. So... Speaking of, I had a friend who, his wife was just the most amazing plant person I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. She absolutely could nurse anything back to health. And if she saw where somebody had thrown out a plant, she'd get super, super upset about the whole thing and bring it into the house and nurse it back to health. And so if you can imagine an apartment where half of the living space was nothing but plants and trees and all kinds of flowers, and just, it was gorgeous. It was amazing. It was a wonderful place to be. But, you know, talking to him, he's just like, yeah, I don't know, man. I come home, there's a new plant every day. Like, yeah, but your house is amazing. I should do a video of my fish tank. It's one of the other things I'm super proud about. I created a fish tank that if the power goes out, not a problem. The siphons and all that kind of stuff don't run out or cause any trouble. And then it takes care of 2 flower pots that are on either side of the tank and keeps the plants growing, and that's all kind of cool. And then you can't see any of the pipes or anything that make it work. That's like one of the key factors, like, that I'm super happy about. Like, for me, some of the prettiest tanks, but you can see the filter, it just takes away from the whole whatever. So yeah, I made a tank that you can't see any of it. And it's not like I like hid it behind some plants or something. I like literally made it so that way there is no hardware to be seen. Trying to get this loop on there. Did not want to go. Yeah, I'm not a super huge fan of having to add string, but I'm also even less of a fan of the idea of trying to have all of the strings. Let's say like if I was going to try to do this without adding any string, I would have had to make everything as long as possible, and that would have meant having to have everything wound up in bobbins, and then every time I picked up the string and moved in, to do a knot, I would be having to untangle the bobbins from each other. The notion of that is actually far less appealing than actually adding the string. So yeah. Not bad. All right, now I have to replace oranges. He just realized, so Rainbow Haze, I would have somehow thought that you would be more interested in horticulture than you are. Just for, you know, the practicalities of it all. I dated a girl once who somehow managed to convince her parents that it was a tomato plant she was growing, and that for some reason the tomatoes, it just never grew any tomatoes. She didn't know why. It just never grew tomatoes. And it obviously couldn't have been, you know, something terrible, because it had 7 leaves instead of 5. And so the parents were like, well, obviously it's, you know, not something terrible, because, you know, we all know that thing has 5 leaves. And yeah, occasionally she just trim it down a little bit. Yeah. She managed to keep trimming it before it ever went to flower. So I think if it had ever flowered, the parents would have been pretty, you know, aha! But she always kept it trimmed. And I know the leaves aren't as nice as the flower, but if the choice is to keep it, having leaves versus having nothing, I guess it worked out for her. Wow. Have kids, they say. It'll be great, they say. Especially the fact that you're trying to plant roasted coffee beans. Like, obviously that can't work. Well, obvious to us now. Probably not to a kid. I had friends that grew plants exceptionally well, had all kinds of various tricks for how to get them to come out right and amount of light and water, and even to the point of having the thing that makes bubbles for the fish tank, making it bubble into the soil, forcing air into the soil to help get the plant to move along better. It was pretty crazy. Yeah, I was gonna guess you were probably young. Hey, I need one more blue. So I managed to replace 4 blue and 2 orange in this one little square. And when the whole thing's all said and done, if I've done it correctly, you won't be able to tell I did a thing to it. if I'm seeming a little quiet, it's just I'm concentrating really hard to try to get this to come out right. Because there's just so much string going into this tiny little area to try to make it so that way basically most of the strings here had to be replaced. And see this hole in the back thing, this is letting me to get these things just out of the way, because once that they're done, making sure that you don't accidentally tie them in is super important. That would really spoil everything. So again, I just try to make things easier to avoid headaches down the road. That's so cool. I just read your thing about Spain. I wonder if that adds to the whole culture of the siesta. I heard that long ago, like even back in the 80s and stuff, that Alaska allowed to have like up to 2 plants. This out any further. Been moving this camera around so much today. Let's see if I can move this in a little bit. There we go. So yeah, I just replaced both of the blues and the orange, and it looks relatively the same as everything else. Wow. It's amazing. I can't even imagine, like, most of my life was spent going to rallies about trying to legalize it, and now back where I was originally from, it is completely legalized. So the notion that other countries and Canada and all these other ones are legalizing, um, it's just amazing to me. I doubt that Singapore ever will. They're just really, you know, really super strict about stuff over here. But maybe if more of the world starts to, maybe they'll change their tune. Who knows? It's amazing though. Have you ever seen the picture of the lemurs crossing a path and the photo looks like they're little teeny tiny brontosauruses? Like, I want that size brontosauruses. That'd be awesome. So, okay, so you're actually there in Canada. Is it like just legal to smoke in your house, or can you like go to a bar and smoke? That's true. Chickens are tiny dinosaurs. Actually, they got some big old chickens in Malaysia. Like, holy shit. When you think of a chicken, right? You think of like a bird that kind of comes up to your calf. You know, well, at least my calf, right? Because I'm 6'4". They've got chickens that come up to my knees. Like, holy crap. Like just the drums on these things have got to be a lot more like a turkey than regular chickens. Amazing. Freak me out. That's amazing. Obviously, you can't smoke and drive, though, right? I mean, that seems like a pretty much a given. Because one time I'm driving down the road, and there's this car who is doing about, I don't know, 35 miles an hour on a freeway. And as I'm going past him, I just see him, and he's just smoking, and he's just happy. Like, yeah, he probably thinks he's flying along. Nobody's gonna notice him. Like, he's doing half of the speed limit. Okay, the oranges and the red. Oh, I want to see a picture of what the hell that is.
Okay.
No. Oh. Oh yeah. But are those in? They're in water though, right? Cool. Those are cool.
And then basketball.
They kind of remind me of newts. She turned me into a newt. A newt. I got better. They're illegal here? Yeah. All kinds of. We can't have um, hedgehogs. We can't have um, parrots. There's a whole bunch of animals that, you know, would be pretty cool. Not allowed to have. Yeah, we got geckos. We got tons of them. Some out right by the kitchen window. Actually, if I go to the toilet at night, there's a good chance I'll spot one. I try not to freak them out, like when I go in there at night to take a shower. Like, they're like, "Oh no, shoot! I was just, you know, looking for bugs and stuff." And like, to me, they're awesome because they keep, you know, all the other bugs at bay. So yeah. Okay, I need 2 oranges and I need 2 reds. Oh, earlier we were talking about Creation Chaos and the cool tie-dye strings that she makes. She makes cool tie-dye shirts too. This is one of hers. Kind of forgot about the fact that I was actually wearing one of her works. Wow. So we literally are in an area where it is possible to run in, to have something like nature, having a snake out there. But for whatever reason, I don't know, just never seems to happen. Like they're just not around. The closest thing we have are some monitors, the big lizards. Um, and they're not all that big. I mean, they're a meter and a half, maybe. But they're crazy skittish. Like if you start walking towards them, they're just take off running. So, not something to have to worry about. Yeah, for me, if with the snake, I think it would really come down to like if I know it's like a python or something, I'm probably less worried. But we actually have venomous snakes, so and I don't know most of those well enough to be able to identify them. So I might be a little bit more scared. Hmm. Wait, so that the story of that one is actually a little bit funnier, and she missed out one of the more fun points of it. We had just we're off on a little holiday stay in Indonesia, and the government had this whole thing about like people that had illegal pets, so they went and created a small zoo around this hotel thing where we were staying at. So there were deer, and then we saw some alligators, and we saw that weird like serious like dinosaur bird, really big, like not almost as big as an ostrich, but like mean as shit. Do you know what they're called? The
Cassowary.
what is it?
Cassowary.
Cassowary. Um, so we're seeing all these animals in enclosures, as we're walking along. We come around the corner and didn't realize we're out of the zoo because we see yet another animal. It's this great big effing monitor who kind of just looks over at us, and it's obviously it's big enough that it is not intimidated by us at all. And we're like, oh wow, look at him, and he's, oh crap, there's nothing between us. that brief moment of realizing like there's no enclosure. Shit. So yeah, that was. Yeah, little ones are cute. They're just little lizards. Oh, so we took a pack of kids out to the nature reserve, and the group that was with us was highly curious and quiet and watching for things. And unlike some of the other groups where, that was the direct opposite, our group got to see, it's like the closest thing to a dragon that a lizard can do. It opens up the rib cage area and gets flat and just flies between the trees, and then boom, it's just a lizard, and it's got this weird colorful pouch thing that comes down. Absolutely amazing. That was so cool. It's the only time I've seen one here, but the fact that I got a bunch of kids to actually witness this thing, yeah, we were all pretty happy. Yeah. This time I'm replacing the orange and the red. If the oranges are done, I just have one more red to add in here. Yeah, I like most animals, I have to admit. I really, you know, having a lizard or a snake or something as a pet wouldn't bother me at all. And the cool thing with them is that they're not going to get bored of being in an enclosure. They don't care. They just want to eat, you know. And they don't even need to eat all the time. They're just, you know, pretty chillax. I like cats. I like dogs. They're obviously way more needy. Right, that makes sense. I get that. Needing that, not necessarily wanting to handle an animal that could be potentially whatever. Yeah, I get it. I had a friend who used to, he bred snakes. That was his hobby or whatever. So he had probably about 130 snakes in his apartment, and occasionally somebody would bring out one of the big ones and stuff. And yeah, I remember he got attacked by a python. Now, typically pythons are known for being squeezy, but apparently if you have a room full of people all making a lot of noise and the snake gets freaked out, it can strike. Like he said, it was as fast as you could throw 3 punches. He had these 3 big bruises because of how this thing struck him. It was pretty brutal. I remember my kid, he wanted a snake. Tried like hell to begging his mom, please, 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 let him have a snake. And ended up talking him into. I'm like, look, I know what it is. You want something that's cool and ferocious looking and whatever. You're like, yeah. I'm like, she's never gonna go for the snake because the snake can get out of the cage and whatever. But I had a scorpion before, and it was obvious that scorpions can't climb up the glass. So, got him a scorpion instead. Yeah, I wonder, we probably can't have scorpions either, right? No, didn't think so. Yeah. Arr, arr. Wait, is that the cat or me? Snapping turtles are no joke, man. I've ran into one of those things over at a trailer park where I lived, and it was trying to find its way back to water, and these kids had found it and they were like freaking out. So I picked it up and took it over to like the drains and stuff to get it down to where they could get to water and away from the kids. And yeah, the thing had claws on it, like trying to gouge, and it was freaking out. Like, yeah, those things are scary. I don't know if anybody was noticing this, but in these two squares, I managed to change out 4 oranges and 4 of the blues and the reds, which is most of everything that needs to have changed in order to go quite a ways down. Eventually, the yellows and the white will have to be changed, but I managed to, in 2 squares, pretty much take care of all the change ups. We don't have mongooses here, right? We do have cobras, so I don't think we have a mongoose. And now I'm thinking Ricky Tiki Tack. And you get what? Oh, well, of course. So what was it? We're all dying in them. What kind of do? Great. I have to change out 2 more oranges because I didn't do it up here. All right, that's easy. Blues are on. No, no eating the bunnies. Bad ocean current. Don't eat the bunny. Although I have had rabbit stew and it is real yummy. Yes, the Kevins would be very sad if his mandies got eaten. Because then who would I do the puppet show for? Poor camera's taking all kinds of hits over here. Two more oranges. by the flooper booper. If I was gonna get something cute and fluffy, I think the one I don't think I would think of like rabbit is my first thing. I think chinchilla. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a chinchilla take a bath, but they turn into like little whirling whatevers, I don't know, like little tornadoes in a bowl of powdery substance. It's the coolest thing ever. Like think Bugs Bunny and the Tasmanian Devil. Like that's what these little things do. Yeah, of all the different weird animals we can't have, chinchillas are actually legal. So, yeah. I've never seen like a big housing for a chinchilla though. Is there a reason why nobody makes huge enclosures for a chinchilla? Yeah, I don't think they. I think they can kind of be nippy, but only if you're like not super acquainted with it while it's young. Like not, very hands-on or some shit. Are they still a rodent? So yeah, anything that's rodent means that it has to gnaw on things. That the teeth always grow, so it could be bitey.
If they're not socialized,
Right.
then if they're just living all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's because I know somebody who had one as a pet, and it was a big old baby. So, what happens when you need to catch it or want to put it back in the cage? So, like, are they like super cool with it, or are they like, nope, and away? That'd be easier than having ferrets, that's for sure. I had ferrets, and nothing like calling into work and saying that you can't come in because you can't find your car keys and that you just spent the last hour searching the house for it. And by the way, you still need to put your ferret away once you find it as well. That's way cool though. You can have them trained.
Again, so
How big of a barrier do you need to keep them from like getting through the front hall kind of thing? Okay, can they jump? Like we don't have like our doors and stuff where we keep open during the day because it gets stupid hot here. Like if you need to,
no.
if you want to like put something to keep them from getting loose. What? Oh shit. Okay, so 6-foot jumpers? Yeah, nope. Shit. How big of a hole can they fit through? Yeah. Like our metal date grate on the door, could they get through it? Yeah, my ferret got the car keys, ran off with them. Um, it took forever to find them. It was, yeah. Yeah, ferrets are sneaky little things, and if there's anything that's within their reach and they think it's neat and shiny, they will grab it and they will run with it and they will hide it. And yeah, and there's no rhyme or reason to how or where they do with the stuff. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And they managed to make some holes on the underside of the couch, so like that was one of the hiding places. Like, I kind of got used to that one. But yeah, anywhere they could sneak off to, and they can slip under anything, under doorways, under whatever. So the car keys can go under it. There, you know, forget it. Yeah, brutal. Fun animals, cute animals. Yeah, the ferrets used to belong to a friend of mine, and he got tired of the smell and the caring for them and whatever. So they came to come live with me. They're super cute though. I mean, yeah, they smell kind of funny, but totally adorable, totally cute. Like to sleep all the time. Unless you open up the cage, then they run like hell. And they do this attack maneuver where they look like they're ferociously attacking, but with every jump, they're running backwards and looking for a place to hide. Okay, guys, I am absolutely knackered. I didn't even realize what time it was. I suddenly realized, like, I'm really getting sleepy. It's 1:30 in the morning here. So, yeah, it's been fun though. It's been really, I've really enjoyed myself tonight. Thank you for everyone who hung out, even if thanks to the people who had to go, you know, because yeah, we lost a few along the way. But and to anybody who's watching it now all the way through, thank you. That's amazing. Way cool. Because I realize that not everybody watches live. And yeah, before I go, I want to thank my Patreon supporters again, because without their help, things like getting cameras and that kind of stuff just wouldn't have been possible. So thank you very much. Oh, and it also makes for the giveaways. So yeah. Yeah, looking forward to some more giveaways in the future. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week, and until next time, don't get your strings in a bunch.